Welcome to a place where nerd culture reigns supreme, where passions collide, fandoms unite, and creativity runs wild. From games and anime to unforgettable characters and storylines, this is where our community comes together to celebrate what makes us feel happiness, belonging, and pure excitement. This is San Japan. San Japan is the largest anime convention in South Texas, and 2025 marks its 16th annual celebration. And let me tell you, this year felt bigger than ever. The moment you step into the lobby, it's like walking into a wave of energy. A sea of fans moving shoulder to shoulder, all buzzing with excitement for what's inside. The line for Artist Alley was so long it wrapped through the entire lobby, which made it tricky to move around at first, but honestly, I didn't mind it too much. Because the lobby has always been my favorite place at San Japan. It's the beating heart of the convention. Everywhere you look, creativity is on full display. Cosplayers spending months, sometimes even years, crafting their costumes, pouring all their love for a character into every stitch. Every prop, every detail, and the best part, the joy on their face when someone recognizes their work. That moment of connection when a total stranger lights up and says, "Hey, I know that character." It makes all those late nights of sewing or building worth it. As fans, there's something special about these moments too. You're walking to the next panel and then suddenly your favorite character is right there, passing by you in the lobby. It almost feels like the worlds you love are stepping off the screen and into real life, sharing the same space, the same excitement, the same celebration. Eventually the crowd flowed into Artist Alley, opening the space back up, but for me, the lobby will always be the space that San Japan hits first. See it, feel it, be a part of every second you walk in it. After we made it through the lobby, it was time to head to registration, because the last thing I wanted was to get yelled at for wandering around the con without my badge. Line looked intimidating at first, but it flowed really fast. Once we were officially in, we headed straight through the tabletop gaming area, where the dice were rolling, decks were shuffling, and the adventures were already underway. D&D campaigns, Magic the Gathering, duels, Pokemon battles, you name it, it was happening. I used to be really into Magic and Pokemon back in the day. I even dabbled in a few D&D sessions, but it's been years since then. What's cool is that there's vendors that are super approachable, happy to teach you new games, and the community itself is welcoming as well. Even if you're brand new, people are excited to pull up a chair and show you the ropes. The indie tabletop gaming area was especially awesome. Developers were out here proudly showing off the games they poured their heart and soul into, explaining the rules, guiding new players, and hoping to find fresh new fans. You could see the pride on their face as people lit up discovering something new, and on the demos there were tons of tabletops filled with games, and your friends, you would just sit down and play for hours, honestly. It made me feel like I really need to get my family on a family game night so we could just try some of these. There were just so many to choose from. Oh, and there was even some Beyblade battle action going on. Simple concept, yes, but when those tops collide and the crowd gets into it, the energy gets way more intense than you'd expect. Overall, this was one of those sections you could easily spend an entire day in, whether it's rolling dice in a scripted D&D session, discovering hidden gems in the indie row, or just hanging out and recharging before diving back into the chaos. Tabletop was a perfect mix of chill and adventure. Next up was the Atasha Wonderland Car Show, a showcase where cars and trucks get turned into rolling canvases decorated with their owner's favorite anime and gaming characters. Every vehicle here was a work of art. Some were decked out in flashy vinyl wraps, others had subtle designs took to the details, but each one reflected the passion of the fans who built them. I'll admit, I didn't recognize every single character. There were plenty of waifus that flew over my head, but there were definitely some familiar faces from games and animes that I love. That's what makes this so cool. Even if you don't know the series, you can still appreciate the artistry and commitment it takes to make your ride look like this. And speaking of vibe, the DJ they had on site was killing it with non-stop mixes. I was cruising along, checking out the cars when suddenly, boom, drops down this OG Pokemon theme mix. Completely caught me off guard, and you know what? I think I'm just gonna go ahead and be quiet for a little bit so y'all can go ahead and jam out to it just the way I was. Out of all of them, my favorite wasn't the flashiest or the shiniest, but it had my guy Gengar on the side, along with the rest of his ghost-type crew. For me, that was the one that stole the show. From there, we heard the bells ringing, and that could only mean one thing: fight time! An indie wrestling show was set up right across from the car show, and it drew fans like moths to a flame. It was awesome watching the wrestlers get announced and bring their characters to life. I've always loved wrestling ever since I was a kid. The pageantry, the drama, the storylines that twisted and turned until the hero finally came out on top. It all came rushing back in this moment. The funniest part, the wrestlers could actually hear what you yell at them, unlike yelling at my TV at the house. They'll fire right back with a reaction, and it makes you feel like you're part of the show. The crowd got really into it, and at one point, people were begging a nearby cosplaying Spider-Man to jump in and help the underdog. And the wrestlers fed off that energy, giving it everything they had to entertain. For me, it was pure nostalgia. It felt like the wrestling shows I used to go to as a kid. Fun, over the top, and a reminder of why this type of performance still hits home. Then we made our way to the gaming section, home of the Retro World Series, with tournaments running all weekend long. The first thing that hit us walking into the gaming hall was this massive wall lighting up the room where they played a bunch of different games from the World Series. Right next to it was row after row of consoles stretched out, each one loaded with classics, ready to play. It felt like stepping in a time machine. Everywhere you looked, there was a piece of gaming history waiting for somebody to pick up the controller. And of course, I had to jump in on some split-screen Halo action with my wife. There's just something about firing up an OG Xbox with a chunky tube TV, melts away life's frustrations, even if just for a little while. I'll never forget Christmas Day years ago, running through Halo with my cousin Joe. We were so locked in, we beat the whole thing in one sitting. They even had the game that first hooked me onto gaming: Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the NES. I played that one over and over again, especially once I discovered the magic of the Game Genie. Seeing it here brought back all those early gamer memories. This open play console area showed exactly what gaming is all about. Friends and families gathering together, strangers instantly becoming teammates, all sharing the fun as we tested our skills side by side. Whether it was Rock Band jams or Guitar Hero karaoke, it reminded me of how gaming breaks down walls and brings people together. Flashing lights of the Plinko machines and claw games pulled us in next. Val actually went on a streak with these Minecraft plushies, and seriously, she made it look easy. These were the only games in the section that cost anything, but at $1 a play, we definitely got our money's worth. Everything else in the gaming hall was completely free to play, which meant I spent a lot of time here. The rhythm and beat games always look intimidating at first. The speed, the lights, the crazy button combos. But once you watch a round or two, it all clicks. And everyone here was great about taking turns, cheering each other on, and helping new players figure it out. The arcade area was kept dimly lit, letting the games paint the room with that familiar glow only true arcade dwellers know. Lining the back walls were fighting game cabinets, pinball machines, and row after row of rhythm games that honestly made me want to stretch before trying them out. This was my realm of the con. The place I could have easily spent the entire weekend. Surrounded by nostalgia, energy, and community. It reminded me why gaming will always be my first love at conventions like this. From the gaming section, we decided to wander into some of the exhibits, starting with the manga library. It was like stepping into a quiet little corner of the con, tables packed with volumes just waiting to be discovered. Honestly, it was a nice reminder of how much free material we have access to with just a simple public library card. Next up, the Statue Museum. It wasn't a massive gallery, more like a small showcase of otaku's best figures, but the detail in each piece really pulled you in. Legendary characters, frozen mid-battle or in iconic poses, felt like walking through snapshots of anime history. A few of them definitely made it into my mental Christmas wish list. We made our way to the Bits and Bytes exhibit, where technology from decades past was on display. Remnants of a time when the entirety of human knowledge wasn't sitting in our pockets. Some of the equipment I had honestly never heard of before, but not gonna lie, a few of these PCs and games I actually used or played with growing up. It felt surreal to see pieces of my own childhood sitting as a museum exhibit. My first console was the Nintendo Entertainment System, so it blew my mind to see all these systems that paved the way before it. They actually had consoles lined up in order so you could literally walk through gaming history. I love the little signs that said, "Be gentle, I'm old," because honestly, same. What struck me most was how much character these old systems had. The designs were bulky, colorful, and kind of quirky in a way that makes them feel alive. If these old consoles could talk, imagine the stories they'd tell from countless living rooms, sleepovers, and late-night marathons. For me, it brought back memories of simpler times like struggling to survive dysentery on the Oregon Trail and thinking that was the peak of video games. And then boom! Power Glove. Instant nostalgia. I remember seeing it in The Wizard and thinking it was the coolest thing ever. Next, we checked out the esports section. San Japan partnered with Texas Gaming Empire to run a full lineup of fighting game tournaments with over $20,000 in prize pools spread across classic games like Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Smash. Rows of machines happening all at the same time, all carefully coordinated. The main stage featured some of the bigger fights. You could tell it takes a lot to keep multiple tournaments running smoothly all weekend, and you can also tell the team put in serious work to make it all happen. Hopefully in the future this section keeps building momentum and grows into a main stop in the fighting game community, not just in Texas, but across the country. Then we finally made our way to Artist Alley, which felt like stepping into a whole nother world. The crowds were buzzing, the aisles packed, and everywhere you looked, creativity was on full display. I've always loved seeing cosplayers in this space. Not just the elaborate, screen-accurate builds, but also the simple, clever ones that show just as much imagination. Sometimes It's the smallest detail or a low-key reference that ends up making the biggest impact. I even had a few people stop me for photos in my Master Chill outfit, which was such a cool feeling as a fellow fan at a con. One of our favorite parts of San Japan is supporting the vendors and the artists. Artist Alley is filled with incredibly talented people who turn their passions into a business. From prints and shirts to keychains, pins, and one-of-a-kind handmade items, it's fans creating for fans, and there's truly something for everyone. Picking up art directly from local creators not only gives you something special to take home, but it also helps keep San Japan thriving year after year. Supporting these artists is supporting the heart of the community. After weaving through the crowds, we made a quick pit stop at the Otaku Cafe. It was the perfect chance to recharge with some Japanese snacks and drinks while catching a bit of Demon Slayer on the screen. A nice little breather in the middle of a hectic day, and a reminder that even at a packed convention, you can still find cozy corners to relax and enjoy the vibe. Later in the evening, we stumbled into the Five Nights at Freddy's sing-along, with the dance floor packed and glowing. San Japan has so many unique shows, panels, and meetups for different fandoms. And while we couldn't catch them all, moments like this showed just how many ways there are to connect and celebrate together. To wrap up, I want to take a moment to reflect on what San Japan really means. Even though we only went for one day this year, it was a day that felt truly needed. A reminder of how important it is to step away from the chaos of the world and surround ourselves with joy. San Japan is more than just a convention. It's a place where we can be ourselves. Quirks, awkwardness, hyperfixations and all. And know that the people around us just get it. It's where you celebrate your favorite characters' victories as if you fought alongside them, where friendships spark over shared passions, and where no one judges you by the cover but embraces the story inside. The laughter, the creativity, and the community make this feel like home, even if just for a weekend. We'll definitely be back for the full experience next year, and I can't wait to see how special this event continues to grow. Over 32,000 fans came together this year to make San Japan unforgettable, and this is only the beginning. See you next year. Same con energy, even bigger vibes.